In 1999, a woman from Pakistan decided she would take the ultimate risk and venture to a place called America, soon to be Tropica, for she had to journey across the Atlantic, where the only person she knew was her arranged marriage husband. But she eventually did it and gave birth to two amazingly dashing, average Pakistani children who lived their lives with one foot in the US and the other in Pakistan. For Fatima, everything was going well. You know, the family moved from Tennessee to Pakistan, then to Michigan, and finally decided to a place more desolated and isolated than all of them, South Dakota. Everyone said South Dakota was a safe place for a single mother to raise her two young boys, but not everything is as it seems. In enters the America First Task Force. No. The America First, Task Force, which submitted their sole mission to inform local residents about their ongoing immigrant crisis and refugee problem. They hold seminars that present biased information, kick out any who oppose them, and spread misinformation, like when local state senator Al Knobster believes Sharia law is going to take over the U.S. All necessary ingredients for creating a group of fanatics. Fanaticism is slowly rising in America. Groups such as the American First Task Force are popping up everywhere, and we simply don't notice it. This saturation is drowning out our rational thought, forcing us to become narrow-minded in everything we do. But what can we do about it? Let's first grab our tinfoil task force hats and find out what are the real causes of fanaticism. Next, we'll join our local Church of the Giant Spaghetti Monster in order to find out the real risks of fanaticism. And finally, we'll don our robes and sacrifice some solutions we can use to implement in our own lives. Now that we've got our trusty hat, let's set out to conquering fanaticism.
Growing up, my parents loved it when I solved puzzles. The kind of puzzles where you would make an image from 100 or so scattered pieces. To them, they thought this would teach me critical thinking and to a certain degree, dexterity. It was a pretty unorthodox method of teaching these lessons, but I think it worked. However, I do remember that whenever I'd be 1 or 2 pieces short of completing the puzzle, I would become incredibly frustrated. In a similar situation, the African Union has, for several decades now, been just one country short of enlisting the entirety of the continent of Africa under its membership. However, just last month, Morocco rejoined the African Union after a 33-year leave of absence, making it the final country on the continent to join the Union. With this said, the African Union's puzzle of all Africa is finally complete. However, many international observers are skeptical about the benefits of this new format, bringing us to today's question. What are the implications of Morocco joining the African Union? We see that there are 3 primary implications of Morocco rejoining the African Union. Firstly, a short-term resolution of conflicts in the Western Sahara. Secondly, an improvement in Africa's food security situation throughout the continent. And finally, an increased commitment to alternative energy sources as a means of fighting climate change throughout the continent and within Morocco in particular.